like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Diorpop. Have you ever felt that in the middle of something overwhelmingly grand, a concert filled with blinding lights, perfectly synchronized choreography, and thousands of voices echoing in unison, there exists something far more powerful than the performance itself? Something subtle, almost invisible at first glance, yet impossible to ignore once you notice it? Because sometimes, the most meaningful moments are not written into the script. They're not rehearsed, not choreographed, and not meant to stand out. And yet, they do. What we see between Jimin and Jungkook has never really felt like something ordinary. It doesn't feel like just another interaction between members who have spent years together. There's a pattern to it, something quiet, something repetitive, something that carries the same emotional weight every single time it happens. And maybe that's why it feels different. In this video, we're not just focusing on what's obvious. We're looking deeper, at the details most people overlook. The kind of details that don't demand attention, but quietly hold meaning. A glance that lingers a second too long. A shift in expression that happens almost unconsciously. Movements so natural and consistent, they begin to feel intentional, even when they're not. Because the truth is, the most honest moments are rarely the loudest ones. They don't need to be. They exist quietly, naturally, without effort, and that's exactly what makes them real. When you start to observe more closely, what happens between Jimin and Jungkook becomes difficult to define. Not because it needs a label, but because it carries a depth that goes beyond simple explanations. It feels softer than friendship, deeper than casual closeness, and somehow more genuine than anything that tries too hard to prove itself. There's an undeniable shift in energy whenever they share the same space. It's subtle, almost unnoticeable at first, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Even on a massive stage where everything is carefully planned and controlled, there are moments where something real manages to slip through the cracks. And those moments are the ones that stay. What makes it even more intriguing is when they're not close to each other. When they're placed on opposite sides of the stage, following different paths, focusing on different things, as if distance could create a boundary between them. But strangely, that's when something even more revealing begins to appear. No matter how occupied Jungkook seems, his gaze has a way of returning to the same place. Again and again. Almost instinctively. As if there's something, or someone, he naturally gravitates toward without even realizing it. And on the other side, Jimin changes too. It's subtle. It's quiet. But it's there. His expressions soften. His smile becomes warmer, more genuine, like a reaction that comes from somewhere deeper, somewhere unguarded. It's not something exaggerated or meant for attention. It just happens. And then, when that distance disappears, everything shifts. Not just physically, but emotionally. There's a sense of ease, of release, like something unspoken finally has space to exist freely. Their movements become more relaxed, their interactions more open, and their presence around each other feels undeniably natural. Even the smallest interactions between them carry a kind of authenticity that's hard to replicate. Conversations that turn into laughter, not the kind meant to entertain, but the kind that escapes without warning. The kind of laughter that only happens when someone feels completely comfortable, completely safe. And then there are the details, the quiet ones, the fleeting ones, the ones people often miss. A hand that moves closer without hesitation. A brief touch that happens too often to be accidental. Playful teasing that slowly turns into physical closeness. None of it feels forced. None of it feels planned. It's as if they move in the same rhythm, without ever needing to agree on it. But what truly stands out isn't just what they do. It's what they radiate. There's a noticeable lightness in Jungkook, something relaxed, something unguarded, as if he doesn't need to hold anything back. And Jimin, on the other hand, carries a quiet warmth, a steady, genuine happiness that feels effortless and real. They don't just share moments. They complete them. And naturally, people see these moments in different ways. Some recognize it instantly, calling it chemistry, something undeniable and rare. Others try to explain it logically, to fit it into something more familiar, more comfortable to understand. But regardless of interpretation, one thing remains unchanged. These moments keep happening. In the same way. With the same feeling. With the same quiet intensity. As if something real simply refuses to stay hidden, no matter how controlled the environment may be. Because in the end, sincerity always finds its way out. Through a glance that lingers just a little longer. Through a smile that appears without a clear reason. Through the way they seem to look for each other, without making it obvious. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, these moments exist within something much larger. A comeback that carries pressure. Expectations from around the world. The weight of proving that they are still evolving, still relevant, still strong. After a long hiatus, returning to the stage isn't just about performing again. It's about reclaiming something. About showing growth, resilience, and identity. And within all of that pressure, these small, unplanned moments become even more meaningful. Because sincerity often reveals itself when no one is trying. Like a brief moment during a concert, when Jungkook's attention softened as he looked toward the crowd, his expression warm, genuine, unfiltered. Or when Jimin instinctively reached out to help, turning a moment of concern into something light and comforting, showing how naturally care exists between them and those around them. And then there are moments that feel almost poetic in their simplicity. Jungkook searching. Jimin unaware. Two different energies existing at the same time, yet somehow still connected. And then, that one moment. The one that felt quieter than everything else, yet somehow louder in meaning. When Jungkook reached out and gently touched Jimin's hair. There was no rush in the movement. No hesitation either. Just something slow, careful, almost instinctive. And after that, he didn't look away immediately. He stayed. Just for a moment. A calm, steady gaze, soft, unreadable, yet filled with something that words struggle to capture. And what made it even more striking was Jimin's reaction. Or rather, his lack of reaction. Because to him, it didn't seem unusual at all. No surprise. No awkwardness. Just something that felt completely natural. As if moments like that are simply a part of their world. And maybe that's where the beauty truly lies. Nothing feels exaggerated. Nothing feels staged. Nothing feels out of place. Everything just flows. As the concert continued into the next day, there was a noticeable shift in atmosphere. It felt warmer, more emotional, more alive. Not just because of the performance, but because of the quiet details that slowly built something bigger. A glance. A gesture. A fleeting interaction. Individually, they might seem insignificant. But together, they tell a story. A story that doesn't need to be explained to be understood. And maybe that's the point. Not everything needs to be labeled. Not everything needs to be defined. Because what feels real doesn't ask for validation. It simply exists. It shows itself little by little in ways that are easy to miss, but impossible to forget. And it keeps repeating, telling its own story in its own quiet, unspoken way. So after seeing all of this, maybe the question isn't, what is this? Maybe the question is simply, did you feel it too? If you did, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next story from Diorpop. See you in the next video, Purple Heart.